Hey guys, welcome back. I got another tool to bring to you today. This is the Crescent Nicholson universal file handle, and these aren't necessarily new. They've been around. There's been different variants by different manufacturers over the years, but I think it's worth a review because it is a tool that is very unique in what it does, and I think it could bring some value to most of you guys if you already haven't heard of them. So, I mean, once again, it's been around, but let's take a look at it, see what it does. I mean, obviously, it's a jaw that holds different shapes, and we'll dive into that jaw and take a look what all it does. But part number is 21474U if you get the Crescent Nicholson version, and where it's been made is, well, in China. And we'll look through all of these options, and there's a couple more, not just these, but files, reamers, hacksaw blades, and other tools. But the idea of this tool is the fact that you could put essentially anything in the end of this handle here and tighten it down on the tail end here until it is actually quite tight. It has really good jaws, and I've been playing around with it. It's actually worth taking a note and looking inside here at these jaws real quick for you guys to kind of see what they look like. As you can see here, there's the paint, but there is basically some stampings along there that allow it to grab roughly, right, less than about every eighth to quarter of an inch all the way down, and it goes pretty deep down inside there. You can see at the very bottom of where it stops. So you get pretty deep in there and then clamp down. And it's also worth noting here too that in the very center, right, it's actually got a slight relief. And that will come in handy here in a second as we talk about this. But all in all, here at the top, this is actually a stamped steel piece. These are steel jaws. This red is a plastic. Not a very dense plastic. Not super happy about that. The black is a rubber overmold. It is quite grippy and pliable. And then you can see the Nicholson name in that red plastic. This piece here on the tail that tightens and loosens, it is plastic, and then you have your essentially your steel bolt that cuts through the bottom here and is what tightens everything inside there. Now I will say that this tail end does pop off. I actually put just a little bit of lube in there because it was starting to eat itself up. So I wouldn't say that the quality is super awesome, but I mean, as long as you take pretty good care of it, it should hold up pretty well for most projects. Now, when it comes to files, I think we all can relate to, handles that either don't come with files. I mean, I've got a handful of files that don't come with any sort of handle to them, right? And that's fine. I mean, we realize that happens in a lot of cases, and sometimes they come already pre-molded, or maybe you're used to compress fitting these onto the end or trying to thread them on so that they stay, and they work sometimes they don't work. Sometimes you're in the middle of a project and that sucker falls off the backside, you end up jabbing your hand on something, and it's not the ideal situation to be in. Well, in comes the Nicholson, because it actually clamps down tightly onto these files. So for instance, you'll slap this file inside here, right? And you could loosen it up here on the tail end. Just let it drop all the way in, right? Or you could pick the depth too, and then, I'd let it go all the way to the bottom there, and then I just tighten it up on the tail end until she's nice and tight. She's not going anywhere. It does a nice tight grip. So if you need to go file on something, it does the job, right? It doesn't move. And so I think that's really nice, especially if you're trying to be a minimalist. And I think that's the key, right? Because if you have a bag, right, say you're out wheeling, or say you've got a go bag for either work, or maybe it's just in your vehicle and you want to be able to carry a lot of files, you don't want to have a lot of clunky handles inside there, right? You're going to want to maximize your space. And so maybe you bring one or maybe two of these handles with you and switch in between whatever file you need. And that way you don't have additional mass or space that you don't need with you. So other things you could use it on, I tested these out, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because it does do a good job gripping. But the problem with this, and we'll show you here, is as you set it in there, right, and you put it flush, and you tighten tightly. Let's get it on there. This could take a second sometimes. Okay, got it nice and tight. It's on there. Let's grab a piece of wood. And you go at it. It starts off great, right? You really go at it. But it does one of those jobs where it does tend to bend up. Now, I'm going to say in a pinch, that's perfectly fine by me, right? If I'm not dedicating myself to doing laborious work with this setup, that's fine by me. But if you are, then this is just not going to be your solution, because that just puts you in a position where this could attempt to work its way out, or just put you in a precarious situation. So I don't love that idea, but it does work for that. And it's the same for all the cutting blades. I would say this, though, if you're trying to do that, stick to a shorter blade. You tend to get a little bit better feel. It doesn't want to wobble on you as much. And you know, you're not going to be doing those long strokes where you could potentially get yourself injured. So I would say maybe stick to the shorter blades when it comes to those. Now, I tried doing hex driver bits because I figured, hey, if you're in a pinch, you could use this. The problem is as the jaws get open wider, they actually lose the ability to be parallel. So something of this big, of this magnitude in there actually doesn't work. It doesn't pinch down it, and it just flops to the side. It doesn't hold well. So don't use your 1/4-inch drive bits inside there, because they're just not going to work. Now, they also claim too that, you know, use hacksaw blades. So let's give that a shot. We'll jam a hacksaw blade in as far as it goes. Tighten it up nice and tight yet again. And in a pinch, right? You could go at it, but it's wobbly, and that's to be understood, right? Because you need to have a frame here to be able to support the tip. So I would think in this case you probably want to shorten this up, either cut it, or maybe just focus your efforts on the first couple inches, right? And that way you have some stability. But you know, once you get out here past what, 4 or 5 inches, it just gets really sloppy. And in this case, it actually held straight this time. Once again, this one, I mean, you're getting a little bit deeper inside here, so that's good news. So it's less likely to tweak as you put pressure on it, but it still does tend to tweak. So in a pinch, I think that'd work, right? If you're needing something quick and easy, this will do the job. So once again, if you're building a minimalist kit to put in your vehicle or throw in your bag, this will still do the job. Will it do it great? No, I do not like this setup, but it could work for you. So, and then lastly, there's other drivers you can use. Actually, if those small screwdriver bits, sorry I didn't grab one here for this video, but I did want to show it with, you know, say you got these picks that you're able to unscrew. I got several of these ones. And this is where I think it becomes advantageous, is because you have those slight divots in the very center, right? And especially in the case of this, you have some knurling on it. You're able to drop that inside there. And I apologize, I gotta get a little bit wider here. Okay, we'll get it inside. There we go. Line it up straight. And then really torque it down. And she is not going anywhere. Nice and tight. So if you need to get it in and pick at something, works perfect, right? It could be straight pick, right? These angular picks, you name it, or even those little smaller screwdriver bits that you could throw on there. There's a lot of little items you can squeeze inside there. So the flexibility of this is actually quite nice. So I think it's worth the view for you guys. Definitely for $10. I mean, you can buy it online on, I think, Amazon, or go to your local Home Depot. And several manufacturers have their own knockoff version. But for the price, guys, tough to beat. So love to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you have one? Have you tried it out? Or is there something else you recommend? Please like, please subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys soon.